Good morning, traders. I want to welcome my YouTube viewers. We're in the trading room right now, and we're live in the trading room, but you will get a recording of it. So if you would like to join these live sessions, and I've said this in all my videos, I hope you're paying attention, because I do get a lot of people who send me message, but for some reason, they don't read the follow-up message because I don't reply to you immediately. So if you send me a Skype message and you don't get an immediate answer, don't worry, just follow up on your Skype, right? Because I'm a little busy too, if you understand, right? So when I get the time, then I answer to the messages. So again, if you would like to have these live sessions, go in the description of this video or any of my video. At the very top, you're going to see a Skype link. If you have Skype, you just type in your Skype, you type my Skype name, which is MANGAL 457, and I will give you the details on how to join these live sessions. You can either join the group full, or you can join just to get the live sessions, right? The money for the live sessions goes towards paying for your course. So if you continue taking the live sessions for whatever period of time you want, whatever money you accumulate there goes towards the course, and all the live sessions will be free. If you stop it, well, then that money is there, stored for you. At any given time, if you decide to restart it, you can come and that money is counted for, because that was a question I had this week from a trader who had stopped it a couple months ago. He started and he stopped for whatever reason. I don't ask people what reason they do things. And he said, can I come back and can I, with that money that I paid for a couple months, be accounted for? I said, sure. You just continue from where you stopped off. So whatever money you paid, you just come back. As long as you keep paying, the money accumulates until it reaches the full sum of the course. And then when you complete the course, you have lifetime access. You don't have to worry about any payment ever again. At least not for the course or for anything that I do, except for the platform we use so that you can get access to that platform. And it's only $4 a month. So that shouldn't be a problem, because you can make $4 a month here if you trade, right? So let's go. If you've been watching my webinar for the last couple of months, I should say, you would see that we were making the forecast of a possibility of a correction after this move down, the possibility of a daily correction, right? What that pattern would be in a daily correction, nobody knew. And if you would ask me, then I thought maybe it's going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4, something like this, and then we're going to drop. That's normally the way we would expect any correction to be. Now, because we are wave traders and we know all the possibilities of how a pattern can develop, right? Because we know that, we tend to track it to see what possible patterns are developing. Now, right now, the most immediate pattern could develop from what we have is a running flat. It doesn't mean that this will be a running flat. I think the difference between most of the so-called wave traders out there and what we do here is that they would tell you this is a running flat and it's going to go down 100%. And it might go down 100%, and then they'll go boast how correct they are about it. Well, I've actually created this method. So I'm a little more cautious. I think I know a little more about it. And I would tell you, it's never always going to be what you make the forecast to be. But it is going to be something similar, or if there's a change in the pattern to be something else, which is a more complex pattern, we will recognize that. But in most cases, when you're looking for the next immediate move, whether it's creating a bigger pattern or not, the next immediate move would be the same as the forecast. What do I mean by that? Let's assume we think this is going to drop because this is a complete pattern. Should it not be a complete pattern and it's going to go higher, or it's going to go this way, the next immediate move that would happen would be either a correction here or a sharp drop here, and correction up, a sharp drop here, or a correction deep here, and then up back again. So you notice in all those variations, there will be a move to the downside, either a sharp drop or a correction, even if this one is not going to happen. So in terms of trading, if you understand that, you understand, and this goes for all time frame. You understand when you get into a trade that you're expecting to go 200 pips and it's only going 20 pips and start to correct, you need to know that you're having a change in structure. So when you understand the depth of wave analysis, then you start to understand that part of it. So I'm expecting this to drop. Will it drop? We will see. So what we're looking for now is a turning point. And I've been telling you since I think we swore bottom here starting to go up, that the possibilities it might be equal to this. Not necessary. It could be shorter, it could be longer. What you will be looking for at the top here is something that says it's turning. And I think we have a lot of divergence here on all time frame. And there's a very good chance we might think, well, this may be turning. We, as a matter of fact, from any point here, if you were looking at us, we thought at any point here it could turn, although this was too short, this was too short. This one could have turned, this could have turned, this one. We had actually took some sells in some of those positions where there were good sell setups. And most of those trades, if you sold this, you actually took profit. If you sold this one, you actually took profit. This one would probably give you a break even. This was a buy. If we get a sell here today, we will take it. And most likely that is not the sell that's going to drop, simply because the impulse is too short, right? Most likely that one will come here, go back up, make another flat, make a new high, and then start to drop. So we will take the sell. If it goes, it goes. If it doesn't go, we'll get out of it, and then we look for buy setup. So right now, if you're looking at this on the 1 hour, a sell setup is forming here. And just like this sell setup we took, right? Or this sell setup, if any of my traders were aggressive enough to take that, we will take this sell setup, as long as it stays as a sell setup. And this is where novice traders or people who do not understand wave analysis get confused. Because at the moment I would say, guys, I want this to go back up here a little, and then we'll have an entry order to sell here with a stop above the top. And I don't know, in the next couple hours, this one is way at the top here. And traders still have the entry order to sell. In which case, if you're in my group, I would say cancel that entry order. Let it come back here, and then we will even consider a buy, like this buy. We consider that buy. See? Now, some traders might have got aggressive in this one, right? If they did, congratulations. If they didn't, no problem. So we're looking for a sell setup today in this, and it's only valid if it just makes a small move up and then start to drop. So put it here, get it, and we get the arrow. If anybody in trading view is listening, this arrow is the most functional thing you're going to use in your forecast. Put it to the top, please. You need it to be at the top. Don't keep it where it's at the bottom there. That's the most functional tool you have on your chart, the arrow. Although some of the people on your platform thought, as one guy said, pros don't use arrows, and 1 month after he started using them, right? Arrows just show direction, and since you're doing forecasts on your charts, there's nothing like putting a direction, right? All traders are forecasters, even if they don't know it. Some traders like to say they don't make forecasts, but that means they're just ignorant of what they do. All traders are forecasters. So we're making a forecast that it's going to go up a little, but then it's going to drop. We'll be selling it. And that means we want the arrow at the top. So it's easy to use. I just get confused putting it there all the time. It was very nice at the top here. So let's put this here. And let's see if this drops. That's the trade we're looking for. So we're going to put looking for a sell setup, starting with that. Let's go. Silver. By the way, for our YouTubers, I only will be doing the majors, some of the cryptos, and some of the stocks for you. If you want the full list of everything that we have here, you have to join the live sessions. Sorry, that's the conditions you're having, right? You either accept it or not. Nothing much we can do about that. So let's take this off. That was a sell that didn't go anywhere. I'll call it a break-even trade. It did come back here. This was actually the trade. It came back down here, then went up. So that actually broke the top. See, it came down and then went up, broke the top. So this now is forming a new flat of its own. There's a good chance this is going to come down a little, but only as a correction, because I'm seeing this as a 1, either a full 2 or part of a 2, come back here, go back up there, come back here. But all of this is looking like it's going to go up a little more. It doesn't look like it's ready for a sell setup. It looks like it's forming for a buy setup, which is in line with what we think dollar index is going to do. But we don't have a pattern here. We don't have a complete pattern. This is a really short trade. That's a really short trade in 15 minutes to come back here. And since these two are pretty sharp, I'm not sure even if you want to take this, because it might just end up doing something like this. you can wait for the buy setup. If you're a very aggressive trader, well, then the sell is not a bad idea, but I would say let's wait for a buy setup. The depth of this pullback means we're going to get a buy setup. So I will put, we're waiting for a buy setup. That's a long-term trade. Right? But a short-term trade, if anyone, if you're very aggressive, this pulls back a little here. There's a really small trade come here. And since this is the flat here, it might make another flat and another flat and another flat, go back up there, come back here, and this would be the perfect buy setup. So you can wait for the buyer, you can get aggressive and try this piece here. If you're lucky, it drops really sharp and then go back up. Euro, we're at the bottom. We're pretty much at the bottom. So the point is whether this is reversing. Now, if you notice the last piece here, it looks like we're channeling it, kind of doing this, going there, pulling back, go back to the top. We can either look at this as a possible running flat here with this piece in play. So this would be the impulse down, the flat, the impulse down, the final impulse. This is going up. Once it pulls back here, we can go with this trade. But be aware that this trade might also just do this and drop one more. Right? So if we're going to take this trade here, we have to be careful of how we're going to get out of it. Now, that's an aggressive trade. The safer trade would be putting an entry order here and leaving it there. And you can actually put that entry order now. Should this break out really fast, reverse that impulse. We're not only breaking out of that kind of a channel there, but we're totally breaking out of the entire structure. And that means we're heading for the upside. So that entry order for the buy is actually a trade you can put on right now. Every channel carries an entry order like that. I think we should put it on. Remember the last time we didn't put on one, what I think was in the Euro pound? Or the CAD or the Swiss, one of those two. We didn't put it on. I think we regret not doing it because the move actually went really sharp. So I think we should put that one on. You're at the very bottom. There's very little risk of you losing that trade. There's a good chance you're going to get out for break even if it breaks out. Because if it breaks out of this structure, then it's one of the two things, total upside or bigger correction. And that's a chance of break even, right? This is to make a flat here, like a small flat here, and then do this and start a pullback. Well, then we're going to assume that you're going to make a bigger correction here and then drop again. And that gives you a chance of break even, right? After this. If it's going up, well, then good for you. That's your trade. So that trade is pretty safe. I think we should put it on. PUM, pretty much the same thing. We've been talking about these points where they can turn. PUM also has that possibility for running flat here. The problem with the up move in them is that the impulses are too small. I would have preferred this impulse to reverse this one, and then we're getting the consolidation. This was a better chance to go up because this was a large, pretty good size impulse compared to that. So that sharp move would have been a good reversal point, but they're not at the running flat. Can this make another flat and drop one more? Yes. Should we buy it if it pulls back here? Should we buy this? Absolutely. Even if it just does this and start to go back down. You're going to use this opportunity to get out for break even. Or even take a small loss. But from this point, the buy is a good idea. So you actually want it to come down a little, just a little. You don't want it to come lower than this. Anything lower than that, it's not valid. Take it off. Put an entry above the top and we go for that trade. When it comes down, then we put an entry. So we're looking for a buy setup. It's not an active trade as yet. Setup. Aussie. We have a problem here. We didn't break the low. We didn't complete this one. So the question would be, are we looking at this as a running flat now? And no problem, that could be. So if you take that to be the running flat, then we will take the up move to be this. And if you're going to make an up move like this, there's a very rare chance this thing takes off because of the size of the flat at the bottom. It's not impossible, but it's rare. Most times when you get a flat so huge at the bottom, they normally make a big come here, drop one more, normally drop one more because that becomes a flat, and then the up move starts. So if we're going to make that up move now, coming back to retest this top for some kind of a bigger flat, or even if this is the expanding flat, then this up move will totally go there. I don't think this is the start of it. And the reason for that is simply because of the size of that flat at the bottom there. But if you look back previously, we have had that case where we had a big flat somewhere at the bottom and it still go. I think was this one, yeah. We actually had a really huge running flat here. If you look at it, something like this we had, or two smaller ones here. This is a small one and that is smaller, like this. Yeah, I think this was a small one. They made it in another small one here, and they still actually go up. So I wouldn't be surprised if this goes way to the top, which means we would look for the buy setup on the 1 hour. Go back on the 1 hour. We get a buy setup here, we'll take it. So if you assume that was it, wait for this to make, and this looks like a 1, 2, 3. So this 1, 2, 3 here is normal. Wait for it to pull back. This would be a safer trade because then you would assume it's a running flat. So as soon as it pulls back here, put an entry here. If it's a running flat, it will go up, break the top, and go break this top. Get that trade to break even. Should it drop, we'll be out of the trade. Should it continue to go, we stay with it. We might get out before because we'll be looking for the sell if it's going to drop, right? We would wait for it to go there, come back, make a flag, exit the buy, look for the sell. But should it continue to go, it will just make another flag and keep going, which means we'll stay with the trade. Now, this one would be a safe trade because this is a running flat, right? If you assume it's a running flat when it comes back here, and then you put the entry order, well, there are only two things it can do at that point. It actually is a running flat, which means it goes right back up, or it's not a running flat. And then they just keep going down, and you're pretty safe. You'll not be tagged on the trade. Can we sell this at any point here? I think that's a really bad idea. This was a better sell here. This piece as a flag was a better sell, but this is not a sell setup. Even if it drops, it's not a sell setup. So we're just going to ignore this for the sell. We're going to definitely look for a buy. And it's a setup because this is not done as yet. You have to wait for it to pull back to confirm that it's a possible running flat. And I'll put this both ways. I'll put it as a possible downside as well as a continuation to the upside. Right? If dollar index turns, this will continue to go up. This would just be a big flat at the bottom that keeps going up. New Zealand. Okay, this could go because we broke the low. Remember when this was coming in, the idea was to come and break the low. They broke it once. They started to go. We didn't get any flag. They drop again. If you bought that flag, you got out for break even. Some of us took this flag aggressively. There was a small flag here. In the trading room, we took that. This should be enough to give you break even. I hope you did because we were aware that it might not be. We're getting a running flat here. And this again, just like the Aussie, it might not go. But should it go, would be a good trade because this one is at the bottom. And this one, you can actually put it on. It's almost there. I just want a little more like this. And then that's a good running flat for upside. If it comes lower, ignore it. Let it break the low again. Don't try to catch a sell here. That's a waste of time. Look for the buy setup, always. In this one, you're always looking for the buy setup because the pattern is almost perfect at this point. Right? If it drops a little more, I mean, don't worry with it. Don't be bothered by if this drop a little more. Worry about getting this straight up. And probably even this one. If this is complete, then this one. So if that drops a little more, look for another sell setup where the possibility is better for the drop, but not on this one. So come back here. I think we have divergence here. Yeah, there should be divergence, a lot of it here. And if you come in this one and all, you'll see some divergence here. Yeah, I think you can see divergence here. So pretty much it's ready to go. I like this buy. Wait for it to pull a little more and then go for the trade. You want something like this. It's already coming down. That's a good sign. And then go for the buy. CAD. Okay. It dropped. Oh, this was the one we did. We regret not putting that in shorter because it went really sharp. There was another flag here. They broke the top. Well, it looks like we're making a small running flat here too. Which probably not exactly. I wouldn't say it's completely. You have 1, 2, 3. This one went up back, but not, and this is still going up, so not enough. But if you want to put the entry order here now, because there's a lot of consolidation, you have to keep the stop above the top. Right? So yeah, I still think downside. I think if you saw this running flat and you took that trade with the entry there and the stop here, that's a nice short trade. Let's see if we get the sell here now. I like the sell setup. And from where CAD is, yeah, we can retest the low. Structurally, this can retest the low. Right? It doesn't have to. This here is a good example of a big flat that actually went. See this big one, like the one we have on Aussie right now, all the way to the bottom. And Aussie is a little deeper, but same pretty much principle. We thought this would come here, come back one more down, and then probably start going. And it literally just continued to go. So if Aussie does that, good for us. We'll get the same thing. The only thing you'll have to worry about this trade is that it might just drop this much and go back up, possible running flat. But this is still a good trade. Should that happen, that's really a good trade. So I think you should take that trade, go for it, and then let's see where the upside, right? So let's see. Nice flag, take the trade, put the entry order. It's an active trade right now. You want it to go back up a little more, which is what it's doing, and that's good enough for us. So go for the sell. It's an active sell. Swiss, I think we stay away from it. I'm not sure if that pullback, that deep pullback is valid. And we know this is downside. Pretty much we really, really want this trade. If you bought that, you should have put the entry order here Friday afternoon for that up move. Close the trade. We're looking for a sell setup here. We're actively looking for a sell setup since last week. And now it's messing because I'm not sure this is a deep pullback, if that is real, because in the morning, sometimes you get that, but it's not real. This piece here. Good question. If that is real, it's throwing off the whole structure for the sell. I think since we don't know, let's wait for a flag. You wait for a 15 minutes flag in the chart. Any 15 minutes flag from now on that you get, sell. Right? I wouldn't want to jump into this yet because I'm not sure what that piece is. Give me 1 second. Let's check another chart. That's FXCM. Let's check Rwanda. See, Rwanda, it's shorter and it's not there, just a small wick. Let's check another one just to confirm. This one doesn't have it. This sell is a good idea. Because if you look at this on the 15, this could have been all the correction. See that? 1, a 1, 2, 3, and go back to the top, and this sell might be a good idea. It's coming down slow, but might be worth going for the trade, or wait for another consolidation if you want to be on the safe side. Or maybe even a little pullback. That would work. If you want to put the entry order now, go for the trade here. Put a stop above the top. So go back to the one we have. You put an entry order under wherever that low is. Couple pips under the low, put a stop above the top. If it pulls back and it comes deep here and then go down back, close the trade. So if this is the first impulse up in the correction, then this comes down here, it'll probably do this, drop back here, close this trade because this is deep. If it stays in this range, it's a good sell. So let's see. We're looking for an active sell here. Yen. I think surprisingly we broke the top. I wasn't expecting them to break the top because this is pretty sharp. So either we're missing something for this one somewhere. I don't know, we're contracting flat somewhere, so I still don't see that possibility. Or we're going to make a bigger expanding flat in the middle. So this buy was good, this buy was good. If you closed it here, you did well. They did make a flag here. I'm not sure you would buy that flag. That was Friday afternoon. It's making another flag here. We're just starting to look like it's going to go one more up. It looks like one more up there. If the flag completes itself, it would be worth buying it. You'll have to wait for that to complete because we definitely don't have a sell setup here. All right, see this one pull back to the top. If it makes a flag like this staying there longer, that will be a buy setup. An aggressive buy setup, but it will be a buy setup. So let's see. If it starts to drop, it will have to drop really sharp and make a flag before we go with any sell. This one is very high in the top, and it can continue to go more because the bigger top is here. The impulse, the down impulse. This could continue to go more. We do have a lot of divergence. I think we can agree on that. But not necessary that it goes. It could just go and break the top again and then come back. So if you take the trade, you have to know that it's pretty high risk now in this pattern that we're looking at. Euros. Okay, looks like the downside is forming because we're consolidating under that structure. We broke out. That was a good sell. This was a good buy. I think you closed that for break even. The idea was whether it was going to go back up when we took that buy, right? Whether this was going to retest the top again, because breaking this structure itself doesn't mean anything much. You can break out and you can go back way back to the top. And that is why the buy was a good idea. Now that they've proven they're not going and instead it makes a flat. This was a perfect sell if anybody took it. I hope somebody took that sell. Right, if you did that, you did great. If you didn't do that, now you have to wait for it to break out of the structure. So put an entry here because we're just consolidating here, right? Should it drop through the structure here now, that's a good sell. If it makes a flag here long enough, we'll retest the top. We can buy this as well. To retest the top and then drop. It's starting to look like we're making this, right? We could come back, make a correction here, and then drop. 2 moves up to our sharp, which is good. Put an entry here for a sell. That's an active sell. Should it drop? That's a good one. All right. Well, let's see. We're breaking out. And if we actually start dropping from there, the down move would be huge. We'd be possibly looking for a move this size down, if not totally downside. All right. So that sell is a good idea. Okay, Euro CAD. I'm going to do the last one in the Euro trades, and then we're going to go complete the majors. So 1, 2, 3, we're going back up, take that trade off. That would have been closed a long while. And wait for a consolidation here for buy. If we look at this as a flat, look at this as a flat, you can retest that top, which means this can go retest the top. Right now, you don't have a sell set up in it. Right? Maybe a short-term sell here, but it's pretty risky. If you want to think this is a running flat here, we have to find something for this one. Now, it's too many flats for the sell. I'll put this back here. And if this proves a buy setup, it doesn't have a buy setup, but if it proves a buy setup, then you can go for it. Selling this might be a little risky. You can give it a try, but not too risky for a trade because this looks like a flat for one more up. What's the big picture? Oh yeah, it could go up one more. I wouldn't be surprised if this actually gets here and then come down, making 1, 2, 3. So yeah, there's a trade there to get, and then the downside for this to complete this flat. So the buy might be a good thing. It might be a short-term buy, and then you get the sell. So okay, guys, you got 2 of those, and those are very good trades. So if you want to complete all of this, go to Skype, send me a message, and you will get access to this twice daily. I mean, twice daily, every day of the month for 5 days a week. Right? That's 20 by 2. That's 40 sessions live you're going to get trading. Our traders get much more than that. They get up to 5 sessions a day live. So what we're going to look at now is some of these. We're going to look at natural gas. Okay, that didn't drop. We're thinking this was going to drop. It went back. That's a little strange. So we'll have to figure out where to put this one. Maybe with a smaller running flat like that. It's going up where we put it. I still think it's more of a sell because we haven't had this move down. It's just another pullback within this structure. Maybe a running flat, could retest the top, make an argument of whether this is a running flat. We'll make an argument for that. This is a smaller expanding flat of its own here. This is a correction, and this is a correction. I could make an argument like that, that this all is one big correction with an expanding flat in the middle. So if it makes a flag here, take a trade to retest this top and then close the trade because there's a good chance we're going to come back here. This down move is very likely to happen. So let's see. Wait for that. This one didn't drop. We're trying to sell that small flag after we thought, oh, there's a running flat. Now, if you get a flag here, that's a good one. If it drops really sharp and start to make a flag here, sell it. Right, but at the top here, buy it to the top there. That's one small trade only. So I'll leave that open. US oil, I think the sell was good. You closed it, re-enter, right? The sell was here. Close, re-enter, and this is a good reason why you close and re-enter, right? If you follow that strategy that we have in terms of trade management, it's just perfect. Put your entry over here. Should this drop to the bottom? Good trade. I think it can drop. Let's go. S&P 500. Okay, this could have tagged you. You closed the trade. You should have closed that trade already. Don't keep it. I don't think any reason to keep it. Yeah, should have closed already. Actually, this is starting to give you a buy setup. Right? It didn't break the low. So I don't think this buy is going to go break the top. It might come lower. This might even work its way lower down here. And should it come all the way here, make a flat, we'll sell it just to tag this low and then go back up. Right? Should this come lower? I don't see any reason why it can't come lower. If you want to buy this flag here, it has to stay a flag, and then you buy it just to retest the stop. Whether we're going to make a flat in here and then go, we'll see. So if you get a flag here to buy, it's a short-term trade. It's not going to break out and go because this is really sharp. Means we'll be stuck in a sideways there. So let's wait and see what that gives us. We haven't broken the low, so we're still in consolidation. US30. I think this was the same thing. This actually came here, took a long time. We would have closed that trade. Sorry, wrong one a little bit. We did break the low and go back up. So that's normal. We broke the low twice here and then go back up. This could be a buy. That could be a good buy because we broke the low and we make a sharp impulse. If we get a flag here, it's a buy. As long as it stays as the flag here, that's a buy setup. Where would that take us? Let's see. Well, we still have to see where that would go. Because it could just be a deeper correction or it could be total upside. The buy is a good idea. It could be total upside. I wouldn't be surprised. So in this structure here, it kind of stayed there, right? It's pretty much within the range. So yes, it's slightly out of the trend line. That's no big deal, especially now that it go back up. Go for the trade. Let's see where it takes us. I like the buy setup there. So on the 1 hour, it's an active trade. You can actually put the entry order on now. There's a lot of hours of consolidation. I don't think it will break out right now, but you can put that entry order, keep your stop under the low, but it is a buy setup. That's that. Okay, we didn't break the low on this one. This one, the same thing. You would have closed that trade in here. If you did, if you didn't do anything, I want to wait for this to come back a little and then close the trade. All right, it's Friday afternoon. I think you should have got onto that trade in the 15. So let's put this here. This is sharp. This might make a flat. I don't see this taking off back to the upside. We might necessarily break this low first. So this consolidation might come back here, go back up. We might end up at a flat here and then drop. Should it go up, don't try to buy it. This doesn't have a great, the buy setup here is not the best trade. So we'll stay out of this for the buy and wait. Let's wait and see what it does. It most likely will be a sell setup. DAX. Okay, it went up a little high. It's still a sell. Structurally, the sell has not changed. Where you put the entry for the sell might change. Don't put it here as yet because a possible running flat could form here. Keep it under the low. And should it make a running flat here and go back one more? So this could drop here and then go back one more. If you see that flat, put your entry here or try to get a trade from there going. Right, so either we get here or either we get it here. That would be a better idea. And then when it breaks the low, get that in the positive. Let's go. We trade these two. A lot of our traders start trading this one. And there's a good chance this could drop one more here, break this low, then go back up. So keep an eye on this if it starts. If it goes for the upside, we'll go with it, right? It doesn't necessarily have to break this. It had to break this one. And well, it didn't break it, but breaking that one would have made a regular flat. You can go with a contracting flat now. But if it makes a flag here, it will break the low and then go back up. So look for that trade. Tesla. Okay, you may be getting a buy setup now. A good entry. Put an entry order above the top and go for the buy. This is probably just a deep correction. That's just a deep, or part of a deep correction. It could be the first part of a bigger correction, which means this should go up, come back here, and then go. If we repeat that pattern. All right, but the upside is good buy it. We'll see how far it goes. So this is a buy setup. Nifty. Yeah, it probably will break this first and then go back up. It looks like they're making a big consolidation here. So there's a good chance this might make a flag and drop. Not a big drop, but something that you can sell. And copper. Some of our traders start looking at copper. So if it consolidates here, it will probably consolidate for a long time. Consolidate here, go for that trade. If it proves it's a consolidation, you don't have to rush into trading this one. And Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin is downside. Actually, you're getting a flag to sell here. It might not be a bad idea. See, they're kind of making a flat here. So look, it looks incomplete because I don't think that is all, but put an entry here. Should it drop through this bottom? That's a good thing. Is there a chance it could come here and go back up, making a bigger one like this? Yep, that would be something like a contracting triangle. I don't think it's going to do that. right? So I don't think this one is gonna, come here and then go back up sharp and then drop. Right? That would be like a WXYXZ or an ABCDE, whichever you want to label, it doesn't matter. That possibility exists because we've seen patterns like that. So you'd have to watch it here, keep a stop much higher, just in case, or wait for it to, break. Should it not break out, take it off for break even, if you can do that on your charts. I would go with a contracting flat and a total drop. Okay, that pattern that I just showed you is not a common one. So you don't want to miss the sell because of that. Ethereum. Okay. This one is coming back down. And the hope is, well, it drops deeper than this because we didn't break the top the first time. See, we didn't break the top. So the idea is that this drop deeper, pull back here sharp, make a flat, come back down again, and then go there. If we do that, then this would be a big flat for a sell. That is possible. Because this is not upside, that's sell setup. So take off this, wait to see whether it does that. This right now is a sell setup. It might barely break this low, might not even break the low and then go back up for a flat in the middle here. So you have to be very cautious if you're going to sell this. Chances are it will just do this and go right back up, making a flat here. Depends how deep they go into this. We'll either go up big or we'll just tag the top and drop. So go for the sell. It's a short-term trade. XRP. XRP is still a buy setup. This is coming down, but this is still a buy setup. This impulse is huge. And this is consolidating here. This is probably going to go back up like this. Maybe come back down, go back up, and then pull back here. The same up and down like Bitcoin and Ethereum, except this one is happening at the top here. And those are happening at the bottom in this range. And this is upside structure. So we broke this low and structurally this is ready to go with the same set of consolidations. Structurally, this one could go back to the top. Because I'm thinking this looks pretty much like a running flat here. See, there's a consolidation here, there's a consolidation here, there's a consolidation here. This one does have a few consolidation down. This one is pretty sharp. But this might not be the final impulse up. So there's a chance we go back to the top here, test this top, and then come back down, making this the bigger correction in it. And if that happens, we'll take this out because this one would not be valued above the top. You can take this out. Because if we make this big flat in here, should this thing go back up here, make a top, and then come down, I think we would either go with this as the running flat, or we'll either go with a contracting flat somewhere in here. Either would work. It wouldn't really make a big difference which one it is. So this would be like a 1, 2, 3 or a 1, 2, 3. So at the downside, probably another 1, 2, 3 like this. And in that case, we'll decide. It depends how high this goes. Well, if it comes back all the way to the top, because by then we will decide where this goes. Right, it goes to the top. If it comes pretty high, it will probably just do this and go back up. If it doesn't go really high, then it's going to drop really deep here. Probably even break this low, but this is sharp, so it will still go back up. And we will probably be in this range for a while. I'm not sure whether this wick is real. This looks real, but I'm not sure that wick is there, right? So depending on where this starts, you can tell me, I don't know that. Somewhere here, I guess there are more charts starting from 0. But this consolidation is at the top here if you're taking this move up. So this definitely looks more one up there, come back here. And then we'll decide how deep they come, even if they break this low. Because if they break that low, they go back up there, come here, and then go. So you're at the top there. We'll have to relook at this. I want to see the proper structure in this and another chart. We'll do that in the trading room. This is an interesting one. And let's go with this piece first. You really don't want this sell. You wait for the sell to happen. I'm not sure this sell would drop very far. This sell would most likely do this and go back up because it's going to be more of a flat here. Now, if you sell it, you have to be cautious. I don't think it's going to drop. This is a sharp pullback. So this might become a buy setup. Okay, this will definitely be a sell because we're at the bottom here. It's going to come back here. They'll probably consolidate here for a while, which means this drop, maybe even pull back like this and then drop again and then pull back and then drop again. This is definitely downside. What's the big picture? Yeah, somewhere down. Basically, that's all. Just somewhere down. It's not ready to go up as yet. Somewhere down and then it's going to turn. Because it does have some sharp waves to the upside. So let's see. It can go pretty low. If this was the low, and this looks like it came from lower. So yeah, this could go lower. Keep your eyes on that. ADA. Okay, let's go back to the 4 hours. We've got this 1, 2, 3 up. We've got a 1, 2, 3 down, and it looks like we're making a 1, 2, 3 for the upside. All right, this looks like it's the first impulse up. Sharp here, sharp there. This should probably come back here, go back there, come back here, go up. Make a flat like this, pretty much like that, and then go up. As long as it stays within this range, it's going to be upside because this one came back way back to the top. This one is a higher, much higher than this. This one is pretty, but this impulse is smaller too. So let's see. It could also become a running flat for upside, which means if this doesn't go very far, but instead go back up higher than this. Right, if you get this going back higher than that, then the down move would be like this. And then that would confirm the upside. So we still have to see what this consolidation does before we decide. But if you get a running flat, it turns out a running flat, which means we don't break this low before we break the top. And that would be significant for the buy. Okay, I'm going to do one more. I think this one. For this one, I showed you there's a buy setup here that you can go with. Well, depending on how you're trading, again, I'm in a 4-hour chart. So if you're in a 1-hour chart and you're trading this thing and it's stuck here, you should get out of it. Basically, by all rule, we're trading this flag, right? That is if you're a short-term trader. Sorry, wrong one. If you're a short-term trader, you should get out of that trade, either in here with that consolidation or right in here, take it off. Doesn't matter, right? It's coming down. Now, the question is whether we think this is 1, 2, 3, and retest the low. On the bigger picture, it doesn't have to do that. We don't have to retest that low. And in this case also, this is the move we're looking for. So this consolidation pulling back here is not a big deal as yet, right? If you're medium-term, long-term trader in this and you're not using leverage and you're still in that one, no big deal if you didn't close it. I actually buy it and I didn't close it, not because I didn't want to close it, because I didn't see it happening. I had an entry order there and I was not even paying attention to it until this morning. I realized, oh, I'm in that trade already. Okay, well, it's a little minus, no big deal. This could still take off. I will still, even if it comes back here, it would have to go back there for a flat. And that means I'll exit this trade. The depth of this pullback will tell me whether I close for the break even or whether I stay for that big move. Right? Now, my trade is not with leverage and it's not on a trading platform. It's a money, it's a money, the transfer platform, right? Skrill. So it's not a broker. It's you're just converting. You could convert to any currency there, including the cryptos. You're just converting money, basically. You're not, they don't consider it trading. They consider changing your money from one denomination to another one. That's all. You could change dollar to euro and that's it. You have euro now, right? You can do whatever you want with the euro. You can spend the euro. You can reconvert it at any time. It doesn't matter. Same thing with the cryptos, right? So it's not the standard broker and it's very expensive. So which means I don't even know whether I had break even at that point. So it's more of a long-term thing. I'm not worried about it, right? And it's not a lot. It's partial. So let's go. That is all I want to show you. If you want all of them, the installment traders will get all of them. The full-time traders will get all of that because when I close this recording, we are going to continue recording for our traders. Thank you very much. If you're on YouTube and you like what I do and you would like to join us again, remember, send me the Skype message and you'll get access to everything. It's pretty cheap. And if you're intent on joining the group, it's going to be free. All the live sessions you watch. So there were traders who joined and for 1 year was paid. And at the end of the year, they complete the payment, they got into the group, and everything that they received for that year was absolutely free because the money went towards paying the course. You only pay for the course and they will have lifetime access after that. Now, if you want to know the importance of lifetime access, I think I mentioned it in the last one when I said one person came back after 5 years. Well, guess what? Some traders heard that news, and we had an influx of traders last week who came back who were like 2 years out, 3 years out. So if you're listening to this video and you're listening to this right now and you are a bit shy of whether you can come back and whether you'll get accepted to group, but you would like to come back and you took the course previously, please do so. We're willing to welcome you back, right? No questions asked. Ask all the traders, because we had about 7 traders who came back last week. I think the last one I did an interview with was Friday or Thursday, something like that. He is going to be back in the group today, right? And that's good. We give you lifetime access for a specific reason. We know that at some point in your life, things happen. You know, people for different reasons stop trading. I don't know, family problem, marriage. One guy actually got divorced. He got divorced and he spent the whole 2 years, you know, in his life trying to put back his life in pieces and, you know, put it back in a normal road. And then he managed to do that. And then he wrote me and said, hey, can I come back? I'm back into trading. And I'm like, yeah, sure, why not? I didn't ask him his whole story, but he, you know, he just said why he was off. Some traders were still trading who were off. They just left because they think that in the internet, there's much more they're going to find better. And they probably bought a few more courses. I'm aware of that as well. They went to a few more different groups and then finally decided, well, this is the place they want to be. Welcome. Whatever is your path, whatever you did, it's your choice. If you paid for this course and you want to come back, you will be accepted. Even if you were trolling me in advance. If you were one of the people who was trolling me when you left, we'll accept you back. I'm not here to spite anybody. So if you really want to learn, you recognize your mistakes and you decide, hey, well, sorry, I was trolling this guy, but I think I made a mistake. I should come back. You're welcome back. I wouldn't ask you questions. Don't worry. We just want to build a good group. And so far, I like the way the group is going. So welcome back. See all of you. Take care, trade with care. Have a nice week ahead. Maybe I'll give you an update somewhere Wednesday, Thursday, or maybe even tomorrow if I see there's a lot of changes. So if you manage to listen to the end here, subscribe, click on the notification, you will get those things when we go live, because we do go live once a while, you know, once or twice a week we can go live. Thank you very much. Bye.